Welcome back to the Foundation. This is Swaythoven, and I'm gonna play this beat. I've been working on it for a little bit. Then I'm gonna work on it a little bit because I want to change some things, and I'm gonna give you some philosophy. I think the philosophy is way more valuable, right, than like how to make these type of beat videos. All right, especially for people who are just getting into music. It's still valuable to people who have been making music for some time, but they're most likely, stuck in their own beliefs or something like that. If they even believe in the music that they're making, right? If they even, put purpose in what they're making, right? And that being said, I'm not saying that this sounds purposeful, right? But there's things to be learned, right? I haven't made anything like this before, so this is what it sounds like. It's the same thing the whole way around. Um, Firstly, I want to say sidechain melodies. That's important. Okay. Even though I was going to talk about it after I made some changes, because I have a harp and a piano. These things would be clashing so much if I didn't sidechain them. Much how you'll sidechain a kick in an 808. I don't even have a kick in here. I just feel like kicks, or maybe it's just the kicks that I have. They they're just too kicky. I don't know. I don't like them. You know. That leads to my second point. Your 808s do not have to be bumping too hard, right? You can turn them down, right? This is a situation where we say less is actually more, right? Excuse me. Funny coming from me is because do you see all these notes in this harp melody right here? That's the contact. Yeah, that's a lot, right? So me saying less is more, okay. But I want to change some things. All right, I want to change the hi hats because the hi hats are kind of boring. Um, and I want to add like something, a different sound in here. Okay. In fact, I might just start talking, right? Because this leads, like me saying I want to add a sound is important to sound identification. Um, Basically, it's because when you're able to identify like sounds and how they are inside of your beat, not to how people tell you what they are, okay? How you put sounds in your beat, it allows you to know, right? Can you add more or less? And so it's just like when I listen to this, even though I have like two different melodies here, the harp and the piano, and I have well three because this is a chime actually. It's just like, is that enough? Can there be more? And that's why I said actually sidechain melodies, just because it allows you to just have one melody come in or play while another one is just compressed a little bit, basically, right? Maybe compressed is not the right word. Turn down. But that's basically using Fruity Limiter. So what I wanted to change was the hi hats, and this is what I do for every hi hat. Pretty much, I have my own little formula, so to speak, which do not get stuck in formulas. All right, think outside the box. That's very important. But I like how this sounds in conjunction to my 808s, like the rolls and stuff like that. So we're gonna just listen back to it. I'm gonna like work on it a little bit, and it's really just ear. It's really just by ear, to be honest. And you know why it's by ear? It's because you can easily just download an 808 MIDI pack. You know what I'm saying? So there's nothing that like anyone can teach you about 808s and how to make them, is because there's so much you can do now with what FL Studios is giving you is because we're really entering like a different era of like just what music production is. Give me a second. My throat is dry. And that's actually the philosophy that I wanted to get into. So I'm just going to get into it. It's because there's so many people, and this actually stems from me buying a masterclass from Producer Grind, just because this is masterclass, right? I was like, maybe they can teach me something that I don't know or haven't really done before. Not necessarily, right? Not all the videos came out, but I wouldn't say get a masterclass. I guess unless you're new, but then here's the thing, right? Like I said, there's so much stuff and tools that they give people now. It's like you don't have to do anything at this point. Not even downloading a MIDI. I have a cracked FL Studios, so it's like, you can laugh all you want, but the newest version of it has a chord generator, basically, right? All this time, right, these people got popular off of their YouTube channels of teaching people how to make chords. Well, now there's chord generators, there's like, I guess there might be melody generators, I don't know, but I feel like that's just, it's not as good, right? Because a melody can come out so random, it might be so trash, you know what I'm saying? But like, there's so many things that can be generated for you just to put together, right? That at this point, it's like, well, what sounds can you use? How can you put them together? I think at this point, it's like mixing almost, right? At this point, it's like you have to use your intuition and imagination, right? It's because they're giving you so much stuff that stops you from using it, right? Someone else used their intuition and imagination and they sold it to you. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't teach you anything at all, right? Unless it's a hobby and you like making stuff and it sounds fun, then there you go, right? But I believe that you're like, people are, they're not even gatekeeping. They're showing you stuff, right? But not really. You feel me? They're keeping you right at the gate. Maybe it is gatekeeping, right? Because maybe that's all I have to say about it, to be honest. It's just about intuition and imagination, and that kind of goes with melody making almost, because like sometimes, and even like sounds and what sounds to put in, right? That's one thing that I'd imagine that AI is not good for, right? And I'm saying that because of like Splice. I have Splice, and there's this thing where they sound match or something like that, and they say, oh, these sounds will sound good in your stuff, maybe, or whatever, but that's trash. You feel me? Like, that's the part that is intuitive and imaginative and creative. You feel me? How you put it together is as well, and that is producing. But even at this point, they're teaching people how to produce the same way every single time. They're showing you the same formulas every single time. I've stopped watching these videos and listening more to just the music, right? And how they're doing stuff, how they're making their hi-hats, right? Counting out everything and like where stuff is putting in place. It's because the things that they show you on YouTube is like, and even the producer classes, it only lets you get so far. They're not gatekeeping you because you're not even getting to the gate. You don't even have a way to see what's over on the other side, to be honest, because that's just what it is, So I think, those type of things are bad for newer producers, right? And maybe the newer producers, it might be worth to do a masterclass, right? I guess. So I'll just go back what I said. It's not worth, because it's not really a masterclass. I'm dead serious. It's not a masterclass, especially if they're teaching you it that easily. You know what I'm saying? It's not a masterclass, right? One masterclass, like, and I thought it was kind of cool, but then it was like, I was doing this all along, was how to make like accents and textures. I could just tell you how to do that because I've been doing it all along. But then that goes back to sound identification. There you go. It's what sounds are actually in your beat and how they work together. So like, what sound can you identify to be the background texture or accent? Which sound can you identify to be like a nice little counter melody and not the main melody. It's because what happens to me is that I end up putting a lot of counter melodies together. When I'm thinking it's the main melody, it just leaves room for another melody. You know what I'm saying? So I really don't have a main melody. I don't really have a lead melody. Is that because maybe I didn't put like a sound piercing enough to do that? Most likely, possibly. When I first started making music, I was putting leads in. I don't put leads in any longer. Yeah, just because. Doesn't really matter. And maybe that's what I've been missing, right? But I like to add some space, right? I want everything to kind of sound like it's not too close to you, but it's also right there. So it's just, I don't know, maybe I'm just saying a whole bunch of words. Maybe I talked fast, but there's just more to it than what people are showing you. And, like, of course there is, right? You have a master fighting against a student. You know, the master says, well, I taught you as much as you know, but not as much as I know. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, we can just go here and say, well, there's a point to where you have to really, like, stop watching videos and just open up your DAW and just start doing stuff and seeing how it works, right? There's some things that are important, like parallel compression, you know, like mixing tips. I think mixing tips are way more important than how to make a beat tip, right? I promise you, because the reason why is that it just so happens, right, that I see a how to make a Lil Uzi Vert type beat just because Lil Uzi Vert not only just released the song, but he was just on like Kai Cenat's stream, right? So it's just like these type beats, they come and go, but you have a opportunity, right, to solidify your sound in the universe is what I'm gonna say. That sounds so crazy, but that's what I believe, right? That's my philosophy. That's my belief. You have a chance to do it if it's loud enough, if it can be heard, if it can travel through space and time. It's timeless music. You know what I'm saying? It's not timeless if you go back in time and learn how to make something that's already been made. But you know, maybe that sounds pretentious of me or something like that. It's not to stop anyone from liking what they're doing. But like, if you started to make music, hopefully it's because there's something inside of you that said there's a sound in you that wants to get out, you know? Not because you want to copy a sound that's already been made. That's just what I believe. That being said, I mean, I use the same 808 every beat. This 808, that's not the name, it's this Cody Perfect one. You know, I use 3/7 snare patterns in 808, right? Because that identifies it as trap. But like, what are these layers beneath this beat, right? That you can add to it, right? Like I said, you can download melody midis too, but you can't manipulate those melody midis that you download in a way that you can just make it from scratch. And maybe you can, and there's something I don't know, right? Maybe there's tools that, and I think there is, that allow you to really just break melodies apart and manipulate them. I'm pretty sure there is, but like, it's just not the same when you just do it from scratch. Not the same when you use your mind and apply it. That being said, there's nothing wrong with using loops and midis and stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. I've made a couple beats, and I feel like they've been more solid sounding things, right? And not even beats, because I haven't completed them, but intros and getting into like the first chorus, and I was like, wow, this sounds really solid. But I also didn't make any of these sounds, you know? And through legal matters, it's because of how the world works today, because it's like, we put laws over sound, I guess. You really can't use those samples either that, you know, you've gotten from Splice or something like that. You can't make a lot of money off of it. Maybe you can, I don't know, once you get like a good license, right? But yeah, unless you make your own melody, unless you make your own sound, it's just like boom. And that's kind of like what made me even start doing this, is because I liked to listen to Juice WRLD type beats. And it's like, ooh, man, I would actually write songs over the beats, right? Pour my feelings and emotions, whatever, and I thought it was lit. I still have them, right? In my defense, I think they're a little bit different than what other people's lyrics would be. It's because people literally type those corny ass lyrics in their YouTube comments. I'm not gonna say they're corny, but it's like, dang, where'd you get these lyrics from? The last song you just heard? You know what I mean? It's like not really much wordplay. Not even that there has to be wordplay, But it's just like, then it got to the point where it's like, I don't want to pay for these beats. I guess I'll just make my own. They sound simple enough, right? Not the Juice WRLD type beats. Because those can be intricate for real. I ain't gonna lie. A lot of different elements. But, I said I was gonna work on this. I don't feel like working on it any longer. Wait, how long was I doing this for? It's been 15 minutes. You know, that's a long enough video, you know? I'll probably work on it, like, later. I feel like playing League of Legends.